Welcome to, what was I calling this? bRanN's Sandstone? Oh, that sounds good. No, but I was calling it MiniCTM Sandstone. MiniCTM Sandstone. We're going to start out. Today's episode is going to be mapping mode, right? 20 minutes of beautiful mapping. Let's see how much we can get done. I'm going to do a lot of starts and stops because I want to progress some things. I don't want to make you watch me do every little step. We're going to start out, however, by opening Happy Love. This is our more updated map. And you see I'm starting here because this is the map that I actually loaded. And that is where I logged out. So now I happen to have been around in this map for long enough that I know here's the what do we call this? The Spider Falls, right? Here's the signs. I want to check and see. See, I still have that as minictm.com. I think I pointed that out already, so we're going to have to update that at some point. I can do that on my own time. Here's the 7th rule for this map. Spiders are friendly. Hug them all. It says double click to edit sign. Really? Huh. I think that's been there before, honestly. This is the starting chest, second chances. I'm just going to copy this over. I'm just do copy. It's going to appear right here. And then I have this downloaded already onto my desktop and renamed. But since I'm in here, I kind of want you all to see MC Edit a little bit, you know? You might already be familiar. I was like, that's boring. I'm sorry. Let's see, that's just a tip sign. What else do we want? I think I wanted a few other things. I do. I want the sword chest, which we will most likely modify, update, and then later on I'll save that as a schematic, and then I'll have to update this map here. Of course, we'll have to get a fresh download. So we're gonna copy this, Duke, and I'm not. See how these all look the same? I'm not keeping track of what's what at all. And then I want to grab a spawner. And that's just because I want to see the structure of when you add the custom name. And I know I have a spawner somewhere. Let me think it through. Are there spawners in here? No. This is the Creeper Quarry. We're actually, to start out in this map, when you want stone, you essentially have to let the creepers kind of do it for you. It's kind of cool. A fun concept, I think. Let's see. I have spawners underground here, and I know they're custom. I know they have a name. And since this is just a backup, let's just make it easy for us. Final words. Ouch. Okay, but I don't want to focus too much on that because honestly, I already did. Zombie spawner. And we're going to copy that. And now what we're going to do is going to MC Edit. We're going to say open world. No, that's going to open the dialog box. What I can do here is I can say close. Don't bother saving because it doesn't matter. And here's my recently opened files. That's going to be easier. You don't have to navigate to the folder each time. And we want Sandstone. And this is what? This is the copy of the map that I'm currently playing, so we don't want that. So we will actually have to go to Open, and I'm just going to navigate the folders here real quick. Like I said, it took me a little bit to get back into the swing of things, but I think I'm doing a little better now. Let's see, 1.64 mapping, and then I want Sandstone. Open this. This should be at the beginning. Let's see where this takes me. Oh, don't close. Dang it. Sorry. Open world should be on my, the most recently. Okay. Open world. It didn't do it. Open. Please open. Okay, this one. Perfect. Okay, now we're in game. That's where I signed off when I was in here. Okay, so a lot of what we need to do at the start is tip signs. Tip, 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 tip. I have this spawner. I'm going to pop that there, import it, and that's just so we can look at it. I want to show you guys that up close, and I'm going to move the player, move him here. Now that's me, Brandon, right? Go to player. This is also player. Go to me, but I'm going to move this one too, because I've just had bad luck with just moving myself, logging in, and for some reason, I go where player is, and I think it's just set up like that. But, whatever. We don't got to understand every little thing. Now this one, these guys are what? I guess for now, I'm going to import them here so I can see what they are. That's the second chances chest. Okay, perfect. And that was this one. I'm going to go ahead and say delete. This one is the zombie flesh spawner. We're going to have to think about where we want to put that. This guy, what does that leave? What else did I grab? This is going to be the sword chest. So we are actually going to come over here. Oh, and that's something I wanted to show you right there. Oh, I'm actually... Here, let me get you a better view. This is the dungeon one. You see what it does? It goes around, and then down, and then around, and down. And there's the goal right there. And these are exactly what they look. It's a bunch of boxes. Now, this is one of those cases where my OCD did not take over because I did not want to sit here and find a way to change all these blocks. I don't remember exactly how it got like this. I think I just extended the size. But basically, these are spawn catchers. So as Minecraft tries to randomly select locations, it will eventually select down here. And that will take away from the total mob count. That will just kind of keep these areas a little... It kind of safeguards them from being overpopulated. There is the issue that happens called spawn cap, which means there's nowhere else that mobs can spawn. So they just build up to unfair amounts for the player. Sword. But what I wanted to do was come in here, and we're going to just pop that right there. Bam. Okay. So now we're going to jump in game after we save. Always save. Okay, let's go in game. We are on 164, our modded Minecraft. I imagine at some point for some features, once we're done messing with everything we can with our tools here, we might want to switch into the new version and do some stuff by hand. I'm still in my... This looks like a little tutorial. Hello. Today we're going to talk about spawners. No, we're not. No, we're not. Yeah, well, I guess maybe we will. Okay, I'm stuck. Okay, here we go. That was strange. So second chances. I just wanted to do one more verification with this. I'm going to make sure this is the same, and I'm going to decide on a finalized version of that. That's not necessary to do on camera. This guy, yeah? I want to look at him. I'm going to have to do NBT edit again, and that means I'm going to have to do this because I didn't do the thing I said I was going to do off camera because I'm sorry. NBT edit. Perfect. So now we're going to look at this. I've shown this before on screen, so I just want to take some time to go over this with you. These are the statistics. Statistics, not the right. The flags, the data tags. I guess that's more correct of a term, right? These are the NBT edit data tags. Delay, max nearby entities, max spawn delay, min spawn delay, required player range, spawn count, spawn range. Most of these should be obvious. I'll tell you right now, min and max is a random number. It can pick between 200 and 800, and these are in ticks. And then it will set the delay to that value, and then delay will count down. And when it reaches 0, it spawns, and then the delay is set to another random number selected between these two. Okay? Spawn count is how many will try to spawn at a time. Spawn range is how close they will spawn from the spawner, and there's some more specific details. I do have a very in-depth video. It's not as polished as it could be, but honestly, all the facts are there, and it's helpful if you want to know this sort of thing and kind of how all the details work. And max nearby entities means if there is 6 entities within the spawn range, I believe, times 2. So 8 blocks this way, 8 blocks this way, 8 blocks this way, etc. 4 blocks up and down. Don't ask why that never changes, but it doesn't. Zombies. It doesn't matter if they're custom this or custom that or blah, blah, blah. If they're zombies, if they are type zombie, and there's 6 of them, this won't spawn. If there's 5 of them, and this can successfully spawn 3, it will spawn 1. That's how that works. That's just the block ID. Here we have 2 things, and they're kind of the same. Spawn data is what it's going to spawn the very first time that it ever spawns anything ever. Spawn potentials are all the different possible things that it can spawn. In this case, it's just one thing. And if you look at this properties, you'll notice that it's kind of a repeat of what's right here. When it goes to spawn, it will look in its potentials and it will pick one. In this case, there's only one. So it's only going to pick this one. And what it does, how it works, is it copies this data over this data, and then it spawns it. That's the best way I can figure out that it works, and I think that's fairly accurate. Because what'll happen is, you can update this and delete this. The first thing it'll spawn will be a regular zombie with nothing. And then it copies this over for the next time that it's going to pop. Okay, but what I am most interested, introduction to mob spawners tutorial over, basically. There's other flags, right? Is villager? Are you touching the ground? That'll prevent them from being damaged from falling, I believe. And there's lots of things you can kind of tweak and it can get weird effects, and some things you can tweak and it won't actually do anything. Like, you can change health here, unless you use a different set of tags that I don't have on this creature. I don't think that really gets modified. That might be current health. I'm not sure. It can get complicated with the mob attributes that they've added and the item attributes. This is what we want. Custom name, Guardian. There is also another tag that you can add for display name, I think it's called. We don't want that on there because that means it's going to show all the time. And I've decided that that's annoying on my map, so I don't want to do it. But you can. These are the drop chances. I'm just going to go through this all. Mine as well, right? 30%, 0%, 30%, 10%. That's how that works. Like a 1.00 would be 100%. I think there's some weird glitch with how it... I wouldn't say that it's a glitch, just the way it calculates, it kind of does some funky things where technically, if you had a looting 1 million and they had a 0% drop chance, they still can drop something. But I mean, it's outside the bounds of normal. Pretty much, if it's 0, it's not going to drop it. The reason these are 0, honestly, is just because there's nothing here. This is the equipment data tag, and these slots all correspond to a specific place on the mob, and I don't remember if it's top down or bottom up, but let's see. Let's look at the item name. Enchant, item name, display, standard issue sword. Okay, so this first slot of equipment is their weapon, and that's the custom name, and that's some enchantments that are on it, ID 0, whatever that is. I haven't mapped for a while, so I don't have these memorized. And then the next slot would be what? Pants? Standard issue pants, which would mean this would be its tunic. So yeah, it's top down. It's weapon or hand, really. Could be anything. Feet, pants, chest, head. Motion is not important. That's if you wanted them to spawn and go flying up, you could change that. And rotation is just which way they're facing. But for the most part, there's only a few things on my spawners that I'm going to want to modify. And when I first originally was map making, I'm like, this is super hostile, right? So I changed this number to something. I think on lots of my spawners, I changed it to 100. On this, I changed it to 600. I might have tweaked with these values on some of them. And for the most part, they need to stay default because this is balanced fairly well. I thought that I needed to increase the difficulty, and actually what I ended up doing in a lot of the cases is just making areas stupid hard. The other thing I want to do is I want to give these creatures their names. And that's going to be in their properties under custom name. That's going to be the tag that we want to add. So that's just kind of how that looks. For the most part, I have these spawners saved. I will open them up, verify that I've added the custom name. In most cases, I've already updated them just because it was easy to do. I didn't do it recently. I did it a while ago. And the trick is to put them in place. But we are way beyond our 10-minute mark. I don't think the mapping videos are going to make it to 20 minutes. They might have to be half-hour episodes regardless. So this might work out better because I have the extra time that I can kind of put to it. And I imagine eventually we'll run out of stuff to fix in the map, but we probably still have to play through the map. So there might not be some complete balance. I'm going to take my break here, and I will see you over there by that chest. We're here over at our chest. This was the just in case, which I've renamed. And we got quite a few items in here. And so what's the quickest way to get rid of them? Well, in creative mode, you can just suck them all up, even if you don't have slots. And a cute little command called clear. Clear. Perfect. So then we're going to go like this, and we're going to go like this. And oh my gosh. In the newest snapshot, I'm supposed to be able to middle-click this, have a block, hold the MBT data, which means these items, and plop it down. That's what I'm supposed to be able to do. Is that not amazing? So we're going to reverse order this. And then we're going to go like this. We're going to skip over that one for just a moment. I want to arrange it just so. I obviously, there's easier ways to do this. There's quicker ways to do this. I totally could have just copied the chest. Well, I did. I could have placed it where it's going to go. Very easily could have done that. I would have had to rotate it maybe. Sometimes I just prefer to do things by hand. I don't know if that's good or bad. So, I like that they're transfer sorts. I like the theme, but I think it does make much more sense to have a book. I gotta think about this one. Because I'm not sure what I want to do here, honestly. I like that they're transfer sorts. It's just because it fits thematically. You know, it's the same. I could name the book a sword. I could enchantment transfer. See, then they can put it on anything. And I kind of like that it has to be on swords. So I might go ahead and just do the change this to iron and change those to diamond. And this will have some kind of, I'll look through the enchantments. I won't think about it now because I could think about it for a while. But I'm going to, this enchantment is always better than these two, right? Looting 2 is good, Fire Aspect 2 is good, but in theory, Knockback 2 is better. I don't know that I agree with that now with my current mindset, but we'll look at it. For example, here is a golden skeleton sword, which is Smite 2, a golden spider sword, Bane of Arthropods 2. But here's a wooden spider jockey sword, right? It's got both, but it's wood, so it's not going to last as long. This is a splintered wooden sword. I kind of went over this before, so I'm kind of covering old territory. Sharpness 1, knockback 1, sharpness. You get it. Jagged stone, blunt, splintered. It's very thematic. It's very showy. showsman, right? Totally about that. Let me look at my list. We need to put some tip signs. Let's do that next. This is a tip sign. Not exactly a tip sign, but I figured, and remember I gave just enough ladders to get up, so now there's going to be a few extra. If this is here, that's a hint. Now, it's still just as subtle. You still might never see it, but it's there. Do I want to put it there? I want something that you can see. You have to really look for it to see it. Would that be enough of a hint? See, going this way, you can kind of fall down. There. That's good. Now it's up to you. It's up to you, the player. So you're walking along, you're getting your stuff, and you turn around, and you go down there. It's like, oh, that's kind of a fall. Maybe you look through the glass. You might see that ladder. And you're like, well, I could jump down. I still want... I want another clue down there. I don't know that that's better, but it's definitely better than it was. And I'm thinking, I kind of want to dye this green. You know what's involved to making something green, honestly? It's kind of a pain. I mean, it's not that big a pain, but you need to go workbench. Except it's not called a workbench. It never is. Crafting table. And cactus. And then grab this, move it here, come here, do this. I mean, it's not that big a deal, but it's kind of annoying just to do one small thing. Oh well. Tip: it's okay to run past an area. You may not yet be ready. That sounds a little awkward, but I think it gets the point across. Okay, so I added a tree here so that I could have a good place to put the signs. I didn't feel like I had a place that I really enjoyed. I just made it go up into... This is kind of just a design thing. I like to make it go up a block and down a block. It feels more legitimate, and you see it. It's there. The torch is a friendly view because typically torches aren't somewhere unless a person's explored there, so it kind of gives comfort. Wood, this way. Base-like structure, that way. That should be enough of a hint. If you want to go in there first, when you know wood's that way and a base-like structure's that way, that's your choice. And between those and the signs over there, they're like, hey, we could even... You don't want to baby the player. This is true. Honestly, though, I wish there was like a broken ladder so I could put a broken ladder there. That'd be cool. There's little hints, right? And many people aren't going to need them, but some people do. And the fact is, don't feel like I'm babying my players because this is my first map. I mean, it's not the first iteration, right? I've made it before, but what I mean is this is map CO1, Classic Series number 1. 1, 2, and 3, this is number 1. This is the one they're going to play first. So this one really has to introduce them to all the concepts. You want to hint at the concepts in the later maps in the same series, but you definitely want to establish them. Like, I'm going to have to figure out which chest is the first one that they are likely to go to that's going to be kind of decorated, so I could put a little tip sign that says, sometimes chests are just made to look pretty. That's not how I'm going to word it, but, well, let me find something, because I don't think that's all the signs we need yet. This is where the tip signs really, I think, just make the map what it is. Kind of, if you can think to Portal, the antagonist always kind of egging you on. Tip: chop, chop, chop. Like you couldn't figure that out on yourself. I also went ahead and replaced the bottom block. Instead of a creeper block, I put wood. You're going to dig out the wood, and then when you do, you'll see the chest. Problem solved. Here I wanted to show you that there's many different ways to do things, right? If I wanted to name this something, I could use not enough items, or too many items, excuse me, sorry. And you want to take one. If you put a stack, it counts as a stack. And then you could type the name, whatever. And actually, it's easier to add the color code by popping in a chest and doing the NBT edit thing. But you can also, sometimes the in-game solution is the easiest. You're in creative, you pop an anvil down, you put the item there, and you type its new name. And then if you want a color code on it, fine. In this case, we don't want a color code, but I will show you something. Let me think of what I want to name these. Tip: chainmail is made from fire. All right, let's pop these items in here. Pop these puppies. We're going to start with the oak wood. And I decided we might change this, honestly. Put me in the furnace. And you'll notice that's italicized. We don't want that to be italicized. I don't want it to be italicized. I'm going to call this guy the Coal Creator. Sounds kind of cool, actually. And we're going to name this Charred Oak. Now, for the most part, people should know what these are. There should be no confusion. But just in case, you know what I mean? Okay, now I don't want to replace... So, the trick here, I'll show you on one of these items. I don't want it to be italicized. I want it to be white, like this. I want it to look like a normal item. So we're going to go in here. Do I have MBT edit? Yep. My clipboard. Okay, let's come down to the item. I'll just show you on one, and then I'll fix the others. And repair costs. This is a tag that's added to items once they're run through an anvil. You can keep them there or delete it. It doesn't really do anything unless you were to try to repair these, but you can't repair them, so it doesn't matter. Right here, here's the name. You just want to go to the beginning, press this guy, and you can just type R. That's reset formatting. It looks exactly the same. But if you come in here, it's going to be like a normal item. So that leaves us with Put Me in the Furnace, Coal Creator, and Charred Oak. And I was thinking of calling this Chainmail Materials. This is a change I'm not going to make, and here's why. Because if I'm going to do this, then I feel like I should name all fire in all chests Chainmail Materials. And then I should use the feature that can replace the texture of the fire that can be included with the map. 1.8 feature we still don't know much about. At least I don't at this point. So that's an example of something. I'm just going to keep it good old standard. Okay? But I do want to show you something about this. If you're not aware, when you rename a chest, you see how it says chest? When you rename a furnace, when you rename a brewing stand, Coal Creator. Now that name's kind of derpy, so if you can think of a better name, if you can think of a more entertaining name, let me know. Post about it in the comment section below. I showed you that tip sign. Danger ahead. Bridge out. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see over here. Don't look down. And if you recall, that is our fragment, emerald fragment. You got to collect 9 of those to make the challenge block. The last thing I want to do is find out where to put the food spawner. The player's definitely going to come this way. It could simply go somewhere as easy as here. Just to mark that spot. I feel like there's already enough going on right here. I fear if I put it up here, you might not see it. And the thing is that the food thing is essential for map balance. And I guess technically if you go that way, you're going to have food because there's the desert, which we need to make a change on that too. But that'll have to be next time. So I think this would be a good spot. A quick word about all the signs. I just want to say, I know there's a lot, but the thing is, remember, this is the player's first experience with my maps, and what they're doing is they're teaching the player to look around. Right here in the start, there's this. It's like there's all these things, so you're going to come over here and check it out, and then you're going to notice that, and you're going to notice that, and if you don't notice that, when you read this, you should definitely notice that. The thing is, I'm training the player for what to expect. From here, they should see that spawner. That should concern them. Maybe I might work in a design somehow. So I don't want it to look scary. But, and you see this. Nothing to see over here. Don't look down. What? Okay. This guy's sneaky. I gotta look around. Now, everything that I've had the player look at, though, was obvious, right? So hopefully they haven't become paranoid and are trying to look everywhere. And again, right here, you could come straight ahead. You could grab your items. But hopefully, with this sign here, don't take it all, you might die. You're kind of already turning this way. So maybe you just continue and see the ladder. I don't know. I might be reading into it too much there. I'm not a psychological major, but I would think, if you want to look this way, the natural thing to me would not be to go over here because it's a longer distance and you're moving the mouse. It's just more natural. So this is kind of encouraging the player to look this way and then down. That doesn't look threatening at all. Not to me. Because it's got that light there. Kind of brightens up the area. And, you know, aside from the fact that things aren't loading in, I think the lighting on this is just amazing. Except for the few areas where there's some lighting glitches, which I would fix if I thought that they would stay fixed. But my experience has been they rarely do. And this is, I think this is okay, but seems like it could use another torch right here. This area is supposed to feel safe. It doesn't have to be completely safe. Just supposed to feel safe. And so tip, and you can kind of read it from here, free food, and you can see that it's spawning, nothing dangerous. And delicious, delicious, itchy, tasty flesh. I think that's all the changes that I'm going to do for this episode. I'm fairly certain that I am correct because it's, once again, a little over 30 minutes. Maybe once I edit this down, we'll be on time. Oh, fun, fun, fun. But man, I did have fun, and I hope you did too. And I'm looking forward to next time when I get to play, when I get to actually play through the map. And I have to worry about fixing it. Ugh. No, I'm kidding. I like fixing it. The problem is, the more I play, the more I'm going to see that needs fixed. And if you don't like that solution, if you got a better idea, post about it below. Let me know. Feedback will be taken. If it seems like you've posted something and it's been ignored, it has not. It's just I recorded a few of these episodes ahead of time so I could have a backlog, so I could stay current. I should definitely respond to your comment in person. You just might not see it addressed in a video for a little while, even if it is something that I say, oh yeah, I like that. This has been bRanN. Please be careful. The bridge is out. I hope to see you next video. Have a great day.